Now, a place in Chesapeake known for fine dining was the backdrop for some rude behavior that got physical. These images of two women fighting from earlier this month are making the rounds on social media.
The NAACP is involved.
And then after you guys broke up the fight, you then walked over to them and said, "We won't be servicing you tonight because y'all like to fight."
Their lawyer sat down with us.
Just because you have employees that might have made a bad judgment one night, that could turn into 2 nights, 3 nights, 4 nights. It has to stop.
Then I'm out here holding training because I've been told I look like I like to fight. I think I do.
Yo, let me know something. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much money you got, you still black. What's good, peeps? It's your boy JP back at it again with another video, and today we're doing a video about some series that we need to talk about. Apparently in Chesapeake, there's this restaurant called Cork Bull that did some very discriminatory stuff, and we need to talk about it. But with that being said, before we figure out what Chesapeake did and why it was so horrible, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, join the Prosper Gang, we're keeping it PG. There's a whole lot of prosperity going on around this mug. Unfortunately, not for Cork Bull, but for us, there is. So with that being said, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And without further ado, let's just get into the video.
Turned into a night of hurt, embarrassment, and pure humiliation.
Now, a place in Chesapeake known for fine dining was the backdrop for some rude behavior that got physical. These images of two women fighting from earlier this month are making the rounds on social media. But the story is a group of 9 other women who say they were kicked out of the restaurant in what they call an act of discrimination.
The 9 women had chosen to have a Friendsgiving dinner at Cork Bull. This is video of the altercation. The 9 women say it happened between guests at a table that was across the room. The 2 women seen throwing blows ultimately left before authorities arrived. But somehow restaurant staff thought these 9 women who were still inside were somehow involved and told them to leave too. That fight happened inside of Cork Bull Chop House. After things settled down, a group of other women who were not involved in the fight were told they had to leave the establishment. A statement they feel was made based on the color of their skin.
9 black women are accusing a restaurant in Chesapeake, Virginia of discriminating against them based on race. So let's talk about it. Basically, what happened was earlier this month, 9 black women were out dining at this restaurant, and out of the blue, 2 other black women who weren't in their group started fighting. And they're witnessing this, and eventually the fight gets broken up. The 2 women leave. Then management comes to their table and tells them that they also have to leave. And they're like, why do we have to leave? The management tells them that because y'all like to fight. This causes outrage in the community. And so the NAACP is involved, and according to media outlets out in Hampton Roads, they are now saying that the women have gotten an attorney and are considering taking legal action. Now, the media has reached out to the restaurant to get a comment from them. However, they declined to comment due to advice from their attorney. This story is freaking crazy, and I know it is far from over. So let me know in the comments what you think.
Shout out to those women. Get them for every penny you can. Straight up. I don't care what side of political spectrum you on. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care who you like, who you don't like. But there's just a human right, a human empathy level that you just need to have to be able to subscribe to my channel. Because if you don't have that level of empathy, please don't subscribe here. I don't want you. I get it. Not all of our people have arrived. And it's like that sometimes. Some of us figure out some home manners, for real. But that's not all of us. That's not most of us. That's just a select few that just, for whatever reason, don't understand proper manners. But to then turn around and then be discriminatory to or racist to other people that just so happens to look like them, it's just completely out of pocket. Disrespectful. And if it was me, I would never, and I would advise anybody that look like me or anybody that supports people that look like me to never visit a restaurant ever again. At least, if not all of them, at least that one in particular. Shit, all of them. Just don't go to no Cork Bull until they apologize. We need to start acting like those people that with the little hats on their head. You know what I mean? You know which people I'm talking about. YouTube is not that friendly about using their names. So I'm going to say the people with the little hat on the top of their head. We need to start acting like them because they don't play that. They don't play that. They going to force you to apologize. A written statement, a public statement, and you're going to donate to their community. That's what we need to do. We need to stand on that. Y'all not going to play with us like that. Like, I get it. They kicked the women out that deserve to be kicked out, but you going to go bother 9 other women that just so happen to be in a restaurant at the exact same time, minding their own business, just enjoying a Friendsgiving? That's crazy. Talking about y'all like to fight, because I'm going to show you who like to fight when you clock out. That's what. Anyway, let's continue. Quick break. Thank y'all for watching the content. If you're really enjoying the content, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really does help the channel. I'm on my way to monetization and I need your help. So thank y'all so much. Hit the like and subscribe button. And without further ado, we will continue on with the video.
The staff members looked at them and told them that because y'all like to fight, meaning black people. Here's the thing. The 2 women that were fighting are not a part of their group. They don't know these women. They were sitting at a different table. So at this point, they feel like they're being discriminated against, which sounds reasonable. Because here you are kicking me out, a black person, because 2 other black people were fighting that I don't even know. That sounds like discrimination. The 9 black women are now thinking about pursuing legal actions against Cork Bull. If everything that they stated happened the way it did, you shouldn't think about it. You should definitely pursue legal actions.
Here's why I'm out here. There's a comment underneath this story where somebody said that this is their new favorite restaurant. That's why I'm out here. I can't, come on, man. Come on. So if the story is true and they were asked to leave because they look like they like to fight, then I'm out here holding training. Because I've been told I look like I like to fight. I think I do.
Yeah, let them know something.
Awareness, that's why I'm here. Awareness. Maybe other people, other than innocent black women just trying to enjoy themselves, maybe they look like they like to fight too. Normally I'm not a big fan of protestors or protesting, but some things just need to be said, and they haven't said anything.
Somehow involved and told
Shout out to him for standing on the right side of history. Like I say, there's some things that can be debated. There's some things that's super layered and super complex to where like you want to hear both sides of the story. Well, granted, you still want to hear both sides of this story, but there's some things that you want to hear a multitude of different perspectives so you get a grand understanding of the complex of the situation. This is not one of them. This is as black and white as they can get. This is just pure racism. At that point, racism is very expensive because they're going to get them for every dollar. I hope they get, this should be a closed cut case. It should be closed up before Christmas even get here. Get them a Christmas bag. I want these 9 women to get a Christmas bag. Straight up. And at this point, it's just like, bro, y'all done showing y'all face. And I'm really disappointed in the overall company not willing to make a statement. And I get it, your lawyer trying to save you something. Nah, bro. At the end of the day, this is as cut and dry as it can get. It ain't nothing to argue with. It's nothing to be discussed. They was wrong for it. Y'all need to handle that.
to leave too.
So I asked why.
By not saying nothing actually makes y'all look worse. And that's why I say I hope none of us and anybody that support people that look like us visit their restaurant until they get that straight and apologize and give these women their money.
And told them to leave too.
So I asked why. And he responded saying, because you all like to fight. And they made us leave and get up in front of all the other patrons in the restaurant.
We were really in like a negative spotlight at that moment, and it was all eyes on us. It was very embarrassing.
The 9 ladies are now pursuing legal action. Their lawyer sat down with us.
Just because you have employees that might have made a bad judgment one night, that could turn into 2 nights, 3 nights, 4 nights. It has to stop.
The women say the restaurant staff has not reached out to provide an apology or update.
All 9 of these ladies were treated more harshly than the 2 people who were actually engaged in the misdemeanor action.
Their lawyer says they want accountability and justice.
We can say this is discrimination. We can say this violates the Equal Protection Clause. They have said enough is enough, and we're not going to take it.
Treat your customers with dignity and respect.
We did reach out to the owners of Cork Bull Chop House as well as the general manager for comment, but we have not heard back. In Chesapeake, Markeisha Jackson, 10 on your side.
For the 9 women who are suing, I ain't got no problem with that. Litigate, litigate, litigate. Yeah, man. Hit them in the pockets. The only thing America understands, blood and money. Yeah, you can't get it in blood. You got to get it in money. Can't get it in money, you get it in blood. That's the only thing America understands. That happens to be America's love language.
The Willie D do talk slow. Man, I had to cut this. When I was editing it on my phone, I had to cut the little part. Willie D talks slow. But that's an old head for you. Shout out to Willie D though, for sure. Anyway, yeah, like this is how it is though. At the end of the day, bro, like, look at me, bro. Like, I come from an urban background. Though I've never been in jail, I've never been in handcuffs, and I'm a law-abiding citizen. You know what I mean? I do what I gotta do, pay my taxes, I work hard, do all that. But I don't play by my people, bro. Because I come from them same neighborhoods. I could have been that. I could have been one of the gangbangers, one of the dope slangers. I could have been all that, and I chose just not to do that. But I empathize with my people because I understand not everybody looks at the world the same way. Not everybody gets access to the same experiences. Both of my parents are very great parents. I love them both dearly to my heart. Anybody that knows them wouldn't disagree that they are both great people, even individually, right? So of course it's gonna make me the same way, right? But not everybody had access to that. Not everybody had access to loving parents, people that tried, people that did the best that they could. You know what I mean? So I can empathize and sympathize with those people so I can understand why people take different outlets. Not an excuse and not saying that I agree with it, because I definitely don't. I definitely don't. But I can empathize and understand why they looked and chose that outlet in life. And I do my best to try to steer them in different directions. But that then don't mean you look at people like me that has never done that and then throw us all in the same boat and try to treat us all like we made those same decisions just because we look the same. You don't do that. You don't do that. And if you that stupid emotionally and IQ level, then that's your... Being racist is just a stupid low IQ thing. Like, you can't be smart being a... No person that leads with discrimination has a very high IQ. You just can't. You just can't.
Cork Bull Chop House, I have a bone to pick with you because it's my understanding that there were a group of women who just so happened to be Black that were dining together, patrons of the restaurant doing what all the other patrons of the restaurant were doing, dining. They were actually hosting a Friendsgiving, and then a fight broke out with unrelated people in the middle of the restaurant. Now, the patrons, this group of Black women, had nothing to do with that fight. They didn't even attempt to go in and there was no confusion. They weren't in the mix of the fight. They had nothing to do with the fight. They didn't even know who was fighting or why. And then after you guys broke up the fight, you then walked over to them and said, we won't be servicing you tonight because y'all like to fight. I'm sorry, who is y'all? Because that feels like discrimination to me. And I can't wait to see the outcome of this lawsuit. I hope they sue you for every penny that you have, if I'm being totally honest.
And I want to also add too, because you got those bourgeois Blacks, right? And granted, like I said, I came from an urban area to where I didn't grow up with money. So I'm trying to change that and be able to provide different. But I didn't grow with money. But you got those bourgeois blacks that try to create that separation, saying them the N-words and we the black people, right? But this is the thing. Let's say, I don't know what those non-black women's stance were on that. But let's say, speaking hypothetically, this is allegedly, just hypothetically, I'm not saying this is true whatsoever. But let's say those non-black women were the bourgeois blacks. Because apparently the Cork Bull is an upscale restaurant. Now, they just got their Negro wake-up call. They was reminded, no matter how much money you got, you still one of them. No matter how much money, no matter what side of the neighborhood, what side of the city you live on, we gonna remind you, you are still one of them. That's why it's so important as us as blacks that we stick together and defend each other by all means necessary. Nothing wrong with us being in our own spaces, calling out our own issues, because we do got issues. Every group has their own issues. So there's nothing wrong with us speaking to us and calling out each other's issues. But when it comes to us versus everybody else, we need to be on the same accord. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much money you got, you still black. You are still black. And that's just something, y'all, that we gotta remember, we gotta stay on one accord with. Because apparently that was a nice restaurant. But they didn't care. Because you being black means you wasn't good enough to be there. Remember that.
And I can promise you that I will never go to a Cork and Bull chop house. I don't know why I would ever go to a place called Cork and Bull anyhow. The only bulls I like are the ones in fucking Spain.
The NAACP is involved, and according to media outlets out in Hampton Roads, they are now saying that the women have gotten an attorney and are considering taking legal action. Now, the media has reached out to the restaurant to get a comment from them. However, they declined to comment due to advice from their attorney. This story is freaking crazy, and I know it is far from over. So let me know in the comments what you think.
So yeah, let me know what y'all think. I mean, there's no real discussion to be had. Like I said, this is black and white. This is not one of those conversations where it's very layered and perception can be thrown off. And this ain't even one of that. Y'all had a stupid employee that thought they were being proactive and they was really about to ruin the rest of their life. I don't know why. Somebody need to find the name of that particular employee, and we need to put that online too, along with waiting for an apology from Cork Bull and letting these women get their bag that they honestly deserve. We also need to figure out who that employee is. We don't need to play none of that. We don't need to play none. You gonna play, we gonna play harder. Like, people need to understand, not everybody needs to be played with. Treat people with respect if you want your life to go as smoothly as we all plan it to be throughout our life. You need to treat people with respect if that's what you want to happen. Anyway, like I said, this is really a shut closed case. It ain't really much to argue with, but I still want to know what y'all think and how we need to approach this. And that, remember, we are all black at the end of the day. Well, the ones that are black, we are black at the end of the day. There's no need for no real separation. Granted, I can understand how we feel that way, and I can understand that. But at the end of the day, we are still black. And we need to ride for each other, for sure. But anyway, with that being said, make sure y'all hit the like and subscribe button. Join the Prosper Gang. We keeping it PG. There is a whole lot of prosperity going on around this mug, you feel me? And remember, there is nothing impossible to they who try. So next time, I'm out. Deuce.